Hi, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Thursday, December 7th, 2017, and we're just getting set up for WGAN-TV Live at 5. That's just about 3 minutes from now. So if you're watching on YouTube, please just fast forward about 3 minutes, and then if you could bear with me, it does take me a little bit to get set up. And I have trouble walking and talking at the same time, so I'll stop talking so that I can do what I need to do here. Okay, let's see if we can make this live in the forum now. Okay, great. So we've done that. So hey all, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Thursday, December 7th, 2017. We're just about a minute or two away from the top of the hour for WGAN TV Live at 5, so please do stay tuned. We do have a live show for you today. It's coming up just in about a minute or two. It's going to be a GoThru publishing to Google Street View. It's a demo and discuss for newbies, and that's with Alin Bugeag, who is the founder of GoThru. So just about a minute away from getting started. So thanks for your patience all. And let's see. Chris, just double checking your sound. So if you can come off mute just for a sec.
Check, check.
That is great. Everything works. It's like magic. So Alin, if you're ready to get started, I'll do a countdown starting from 10.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why, but then I'll do that.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. All right, Mike. See you tomorrow, or see you probably Monday. I'm guessing with the snow.
Okay.
Okay. Potential snow. And let's see. Almost ready. Okay. If you'll just give me another minute, I'll give you a moment before I start recording.
Okay.
I'll do that. So Mike's going to step out in a second. We'll do that.
Thanks, man.
You good? Okay. Thanks, Mike. Okay. All right. Okie doke. In 10, 9, 8. Hi all, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Thursday, December 7th, 2017, and you're watching WGAN TV Live at 5. We have two in our studio today. First is our guest, GoThru founder Alin Bugeag, and co-hosting the show with me today, Metroplex 360 founder Chris Hickman. Hey, Alin, hey, Chris. Good to see you all.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Chris.
So, today's show, Alin, GoThru for newbies. GoThru publishing to Google Street View for newbies. I'd love to get a demo and for us to discuss it.
Okay, so hi everyone. I am Alin. So I will just go ahead and share my screen with you. So GoThru is just gonna go out. GoThru is an application web app that allows anyone to take a 360 camera or a DSLR, create their own panoramas, or send it to us. We offer stitching solution also, and publish the tour to Google. That's the basic of GoThru. Besides that, we have different other tools that allows you to enhance your product. So I will just go ahead and log into my GoThru account by clicking sign in with Google. GoThru doesn't require any username or password. All you have to do is have a Gmail account. We do not believe in passwords, and we want your account to be as safe as possible. So that's why we've made it simple. You just click that button, and if you don't have an account, you will get an account just by clicking one button.
And so you're at gothru.co, GOTHRU.co. And assuming that I have a Gmail account, then I automatically have what I need in order to sign into GoThru.
That's all you need, yeah. And also, in order to publish to Google, you need a Gmail account, because the way Google set up Street View is like YouTube. So in order to publish a video to YouTube, you have to have a Gmail account. It's the same with Street View. In order to publish to Street View, all you have to do is a Gmail account. And you have to understand that Google made it so easy that it's very similar, YouTube or Street View. You just have to bend your mind a bit and understand how YouTube works, and it's the same thing. So once I logged into my account, this is the dashboard, GoThru dashboard. We have our latest news, and you can scroll down and see what we have been working on. And for the newbies, the best place to start is taking a look at this video here.
Hello.
You just go, enlarge it, and you will be having a run through how to create a tour and publish. So the basic of GoThru. So I will just go ahead and click on the Constellation tab. The Constellation tab is a place of your work. This is where you create new listings in Google, and where you work on them, and then where you publish them to Google. So the way you would start, like, let's say you just bought a new camera. It can be a Theta camera, which is $300, or it can be the newest Insta360 camera. That's a $3,000. So in this business, you can start low and work your way out high. GoThru is here to help you put your business together. So let's say you want to start this new business. Like, first of thing, like, you will have to find some clients that you want to take the photos of their stores. Yeah, but if you just start, what I recommend you is, one, get the camera, and second, learn to shot with your camera. And the most important thing, in looking at the newbies that are publishing to GoThru, one of the most important thing is leveling your camera. The quality, maybe if you shot with a Theta, the quality might not be there, But the most important is to level the camera. Because otherwise you get this feeling that you're on a cruise ship where so first things, do the test in your home. Buy a tripod, buy a ball head head for the tripod. Put your camera on it, and before you shot, make sure you level the camera, like every shot, because the floor changes. It is not leveled. So before you shot, level the camera, and then you shot. Once you have your first set of images, the test images, you can go through and upload and moderate as much as you want. Like GoThru account, GoThru is not charging for moderating in GoThru. There is a fee, but that fee is at public when you publish. So you can play and test and improve your skill as much as you want before actually going to a client. Once you get the basics, the camera and the moderation, then you should be confident enough to start going to the businesses and sell the Street View product. I started myself in.
But Alin, let's come back to that. But let's do the demo first, and then we'll talk about some of the business opportunities and how this is so amazing for everyone. Okay. But I think if we just dive in and let you do your a demo, how do you publish 360s to Google Street View using the GoThru moderator? So
the way you will start is you create a new tour. Now, to create a new tour, you can type in the business name, or if you're familiar with the CAD, we can use the CAD.
CID stands for?
CAD stands from, I have no idea what it stands for, but
so that's a unique identifier for associated with the property that Google assigns?
Yeah, like every business, Google My Business page has a CAD associated to it.
Okay, so there's three ways to locate a place on the map. The first is the business name, second is by address, and third is the CID number.
So in this case, I will type the business name, which is Richmond. No, it's Richmond Station. Which is this one. No, it's not this one, but it doesn't matter. So this is you just type in the business name. Oh, the big carrot. This is a business that we've shot. So we just click on, type it in, it pops up. There are some issues when the business is very new, you don't find it in the search tool. So that's when the CAD comes in, and you can just put in the CAD number and like hashtag and then the CAD number, and then you can create the tour. So let's go ahead and create the tour for the big carrot. Now, once you created the tour, you have the opportunity to go ahead and upload panoramas. Uploading the panoramas, there are multiple ways. One, if you are using a DSLR camera and you do not want to stitch your own panoramas, you can send them to us. And you click auto stitching, and you can select, like, first of all, you have to create on your Google Drive a folder called GoThru Stitching and upload your images there. Once you did that, you will see the images in here. And
so we're really talking about two ways that images may be created. One is, for example, a DSLR camera where the camera is rotated and maybe taking a fisheye picture every 3, 4, 5, 6 times around, whatever it might be.
So these are images from DSLR.
Okay, or that it could simply be images from an under $500 360 camera, like the Insta360 Air, Insta360 One, Insta360 Nano, Ricoh Theta S, Ricoh Theta V, Samsung second generation 360 camera. So it doesn't matter how the images come in. They can either be the professional solution, or I don't know, let's call it a DSLR solution, or a one-click 360 camera solution.
Yeah.
Okay. And so have the ones that you brought in, are these already stitched or not stitched?
Yeah, so we can bring in, like, these are some, like, I will just bring in some images just to see how that is done. So you just select the images that you want and you upload them into GoThru.
And are these pre-stitched images?
These are pre-stitched images.
Okay.
So
if they weren't pre-stitched, would you follow the same process, or is there a workflow where you still need to upload DSLR and then somehow?
No. If it's pre-stitched, you just drag and drop them here.
Yes, but if it's not pre-stitched?
No, if it's not pre-stitched, you have two options. One, you stitch them yourself, or you use the auto-stitching solution from GoThru.
And then somehow you send back a note, say, good news, Dan, we've stitched them together, we've put them in Google Drive, here's the link.
The only thing is that with the auto-stitching solution, that works only for DSLR panoramas.
Yes.
So,
but in that case, for the DSLR 360, I'm curious, because in a previous life, I used to do my own stitching, and with the, Canon 5D Mark III, Nodal Ninja, fisheye lens, and I did not enjoy stitching. So it was like, wow, you do that. That sounds pretty cool to me, that I could be out of the stitching business if I wanted to use a DSLR camera. So I'm just so curious, though, is once you finish doing the stitching, do you automatically drop them in the GoThru moderator, or do you
so automatically, once you finish the stitching, the images will be in your account, and you will be receiving an email saying that the stitching has been done for your images, and all you have to do is just log into your account and start working on your tour.
Okay, and then obviously if you're using a one-click 360 camera like a Ricoh Theta or an Insta360, there's no stitching involved.
No stitching.
It's just simply export the files, and then you can import them to the GoThru moderator. Thanks, Chris, for that, sending me that note to point that out.
Yeah. So that's the first step, uploading and bringing the images in the GoThru. Now we're gonna jump to a tour that I usually use for moderation. Now, one thing about GoThru is once you upload the panoramas, we automatically patch the NADAR. So if I'm taking a look.
Okay, so this is for newbies. So if we're talking about the nadir, or the bottom, or where the tripod is located, you're showing that on your screen right now. That that could be a business logo and a business name, for example.
Yeah, no, there are different things. One, when you upload the panoramas, when you stitch your panoramas, usually you have a black area where your nadar is, and the reason is this is mostly for the DSLR users, and the reason is because the lens is tilted a bit up. Most of the lenses are not covering 180, so you tilt a bit up the lens so you have a full nadar on the top, and then because the tilting up, you end up with a black box, usually like square on the bottom. And what GoThru does automatically detects the black box and is sizing and auto patching the nadar for you.
So not perfect, but it serves its purpose.
Yeah, it does something. Just we have tools that help you add a nadar to your tours, like a logo and stuff like that. But that's probably a bit later. We will talk about them.
Okay, thank you.
So once you uploaded the panoramas, the next step is to create a constellation out of there, like, you know? And the easiest way to should define what a constellation is. When you walk through a store with the camera, you position the camera in different key areas of the business, and connecting these different key areas creates like a star constellation on maps. Yeah, on map. Now, when you upload your panoramas into GoThru, GoThru will just put them randomly on the map.
Yeah, so when I hear you use the word constellation, since I am a newbie at this, I would say, oh, this is like connecting the dots, and it kind of looks like a constellation in the sky where the stars have been connected to say, oh, that's the Big Dipper, that's Orion, that's the Little Dipper. Yeah. So that's a metaphor for connecting the dots or connecting every scan point. Constellation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that. So the next step is to start creating the constellation. So you click on moderate, and we end up with the panoramas on the right side. These will be the panoramas that are not connected. We have a preview window here. You can take a look at the image.
Okay.
And the way you would moderate, the way GoThru works is sorting your images based on your file name. So the first image will be the order of the file names. And usually the first image is the first that you've shot it. So whenever you shot a business, I would recommend don't jump through the business, but follow a path where one panel is connected with the next one and the next one. That will make your moderation much easier.
Yes.
Shooting. I know that sometimes that's a challenge, especially when you are working in a busy business where you have people working around, and then you might jump from different places. But normally that would be the preferred way to shoot a business. So let's just dig in and let's start moderating this tour. I will double click the first panorama, and that will load it into the main working viewer. And then I would align by rotating the panorama, and I would put the red line where I've shot the next panorama. So in this case, I know I've shot the next panorama in here.
Would you describe this as a default point of view, POV? That when I enter this 360 from Google Street View, is that the view that I will see?
Google it doesn't allow us to pick the starting angle, the starting panel and the starting angle. Now, there are tricks and hacks that you can do to go around that. So I wouldn't say that this will be the starting point.
So this is really the starting point for creating the constellation.
Yes, this is where I've started shooting this tour. So I've started, and that's my way. Yeah, I'm starting usually 4 or 5 meters in front of the business, and then I'm going usually in front of the door. But in this case, there was this hallway. So I just step inside. There was no point to shot here and then shot in here. So I just stepped in. And also one thing, like one notice is you should shot your panoramas in your line of sight. Google is recommending shooting every 3 meters or something like that. Sometimes that can be way too much. Or I have seen photographers shooting actually 1 meter. And that was way too much. There is nothing, is not adding value to a business by shooting so many panoramas. You have to shoot in a straight line and line of sight, not usually having no obstacle between the panoramas if possible. So I would always open the doors. When I'm shooting, I always have with me sort of some door stoppers. So I have a door open. So anyway, so going back to moderation, you position the red line where the next panel is, and you double click on the next panel, which
is there any, so if I understand my meters correctly, I'm doing my math quickly here. So I think that 1 meter is equal to about 3 feet and a couple of inches. So 3 meters is about 10 feet or so. If I shot further than 10 feet, is that a problem for
no, it's
Google?
Not a problem. No. Google has problems with not adding links if the distance is way too big. So let's say 30 meters, 40. Like if you go beyond like 50 meters.
Yeah, Alin, I'm just looking at your shot here, and I'm presuming that this was shot in Toronto. There's a little gap for the cold air, hot air, whatever. So there's no reason to shoot in that space. That your next shot is really going to be in the store.
No, I actually shot in here. So anyway, so let's go ahead and I will double click on the second panel, and that will add an overlay with the transparency over the previous panel. So in here, and you can match your features. This panel is particularly, it's harder to understand what's behind, but usually you overlap the features behind the panels. So this looks like good.
And what did zooming in and out? I know you aligned the shot. I get that. What was the zooming in and zooming out?
Zooming in and zooming out is modifying. If you look at the map, is modifying the distance between the panoramas.
When you zoom in and out, are you trying to align the images?
No, zooming in and out is just changing the distance between the panoramas. So the more you zoom out, the bigger the distance between the panoramas will be.
I don't understand that because if you shot it 3 meters away, shouldn't it be 3 meters away, or you can actually control?
No, the application cannot detect.
So you're essentially telling Google how far away this image is by eyeballing it with this enlarged.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Normally, by default, when you load the panoramas into GoThru, if you don't zoom in and zoom out, we put it like 3 meters away.
Okay.
Usually, when I moderate, I never zoom in and zoom out. If I need to adjust the distance, I'm just going on the map and I'm adjusting it later on the map.
Okay.
Anyway, so in order to solidify the link between the panorama 1 and panorama 2, we're going to click on the forward arrow, or we can click on W key on the keyboard. So I will click because it has a visual effect on the arrow. And right now, I am creating a link between panorama number 1 and panorama number 2.
And that was done by clicking the W to add that sergeant.
No, I clicked on an arrow, but you can do by
okay.
So you can click on W also. Like the way we map the keys on the keyboard is, if you're familiar with gaming, in 3D shooter games, usually you are using W and S for going forward and back, S for back, A and D for going left and right. So that's how we mapped also our keys in the moderator. So I'm just going to go back and forth, and I'm going to notice that these panels do not align properly, but I'm not going to touch them. Being the first two panels, I'm not going to touch them yet. And I'm going to explain you later why. So next, I will go to connect panel number 2 with panel number 3. I will just double click panel number 3 and align the features. So you see the features behind, I can see them and I can align them. And I can change the transparency of this by clicking on my keyboard anything from 0 to 9 or 1 to 0. 1 being like very transparent and 9 being almost solid. So I would say 4, it's a good transparency. And just match these features and click on the next.
Okay.
Now, another important key in GoThru is F. F stands from flip.
So I'm a little bit confused here because I'm not a gamer. Is there some place that I can look in GoThru moderator that has a key to what all the shortcut keys are?
Yeah. You can press either H, or you can press the help button here.
Yeah, could you just click on that? I'm curious. There we go. Here are all our shortcuts. Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. We have
all the shortcuts in here, and if you see forward, W, or up key, and backward, like we have this navigation key.
Okay. So I'm a newbie, but you're expecting that I'll be a power user in short order.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also we have a video section, so you can take a look at video and.
Okay, great.
So it's just going to close the help. Now I'm going to click F for flip, and flip will reverse me with 180 degree. And I will just click on W and S quickly to make sure that the link, so going back, the front and back, to make sure that the angles are correct.
Okay.
The features from the previous. Now, if you notice in this panel, I closed the door from outside. It was a bit cold outside, so I didn't want to get a cold. So I closed the door, and that's why the images are not matching exactly. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Q. Q is probably the most important. No, actually, I'm going to press C, and C is going to lock the link between panorama number 3 and panorama number 2. If you notice, we just put a lock. And locking the links is important because you cannot move panels like anymore. The link between this is locked. And I'm going to go back to panel number 1, panel number 2, and look again between panel number 2 and panel number 1, and use the W and S to go back and forth to see if they are aligned properly. And they do not align exactly as I want. So I'm just going to put the red line where it shows when I'm clicking forward. And now I'm going to press Q. Q is one of the most important keys in GoThru. And what Q does is going to take this arrow and align it, like rotate, pretty much is going to rotate the panorama So look at the map. So I'm going to press Q. And you see the panorama number 1 shifted a bit to left.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm going to press again W and S to see if the angle is good. We have an improvement, but it's not quite there yet. So I'm going to press F, because always when you match two panoramas, you have to look at them from both angles, from both panoramas. So the angle should be correct from both. So I'm going to click F and back, front and back. So panorama, it should be here, and I'm going to press Q, and Q will rotate this panel. You see, it shifted a bit to align with here. And just back and forth a bit, the angle looks perfect. Click here, back and forth, the angle looks perfect. So with just a few strokes of on the keyboard, we align these images. And this is pretty much what GoThru does, is aligning panoramas. Yeah. So this looks like a solid link. And now we're going to go to the next panorama, where I remember I've shot it around somewhere here. I'm just going to position, double click on number 4, and I'm going to increase a bit the transparency to 5 and make sure I align this. So you see the black line, the stairs are aligning, and I'm going to press W and S, W and S, and the angle seems to be very good. Now, when you shot, you should try to maintain the same angle. Like if you have a DSLR, you always start, let's say, with north or east or, but always start in the same direction for all your panoramas. If you are using a 360 camera, always start with the lens in one particular direction. So if you start, don't position the camera, because this will help you also. So the angle between panel number 3 and 4 looks good. Now we're going to try to see the angle between panel number 4 and number 3. So we're going to close number 4, flip, and go with the W on number 3. So it's between M and H. We can adjust it just a bit like this. Q, flip. Once you get the hold of the whole thing, the whole moderation resumes to a few keys in GoThru. One is C, lock the link. One is W and S, back and forth, and one is Q. If you master these 4 keys, that's all you need to do. So I'm just going to align now number 4 with number 5. Align these 2 images, click forward, look back, and click forward. The angles look good.
What would be an example of an angle not looking good, and what would you do to fix it? This speaks to the alignment. So if I'm walking this way, I might have it connected crooked.
Okay, so let's take panel number 6. So I'm going to take panel number 6, and let's say we open it like this. Yeah. So definitely, when navigating from here, and I'm ending up here, is not. My brain expects to see what's in front and what's on.
Yes. Oh, that was helpful. So you showed the extreme of you'll really mess with the brain if you're not having a logical walking experience.
Yeah. So when I'm clicking, when I'm adding panel number 6 over panel number 5, I'm trying to align what I'm seeing in number 5, because the brain needs continuous to see the same thing. Mm-hmm. So by aligning these, we will see, and we're going to transparency number 3, and we just try to align this somewhere, something like this probably, yeah. And now just going forward, and I'm doing back and forth so I can see if is the same visual thing. And you see the visual, it's maintained when I'm going back and forth. And that's the most important. You have to maintain a visual of what you were seeing before and what you are seeing next. Otherwise, you have this experience of jumping or teleporting, which is very discomforting for the brain. So I'm just gonna back and forth, you see in here.
And when you shot this inside, were you doing about every 3 meters, about every 10 feet?
I never think about that. Like what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to showcase the business. And if you take a look, this is the entry. I couldn't jump from here to here. There's this wall of glass here. And the next, I thought that this is an important area where you can see that you have these stand-up tables.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next would be the middle of these tables,
Mm-hmm.
where you can see all the wines.
Yes.
And the next would be just in front of the stairs going up. Oh, if this hallway would have been longer, probably I would have like, not shot that granularly. Maybe I would just jump a bit more. So in here you can see where this area. So now I'm just gonna flip, take a look, back and forth. You see there is a bit, the image is a bit shifted to the right. I'm just gonna do this, press Q. This is gonna automatically align with the red line, back and forth, back and forth.
And remind me to lock it so that as I'm making progress, I don't lose.
The problem is if you do not lock it, when you try to use the Q key, it will skew up what you moderated before. So that's why it's very important to lock. And the next panel is actually panel number 8. And
Alin, is there some point here where you're doing just a save as you're working?
Yeah. So you can save. We have a menu on the left side. You can click on save, or you can press Ctrl S, and we are saving.
And I believe when you did that pull down menu, I saw an auto save feature.
Auto save feature, yes, you can set it up to any like 10, 30 minutes or so, and GoThru will automatically save. Now, what we found out is if you have multiple moderators open, if you use the auto save function, they will override each other. So if you use one browser, you can safely use it. But if you don't, if you use multiple browsers, it's not that safe to use it. So I wouldn't. I'm just pressing Ctrl S from time to time. It's easy to do it. So I'm just gonna go to the next panel and double click on. That was the wrong panel. So the next panel is panel number 8. And I will just align the door. Change a bit of transparency. This is it. Click W. Click flip. Forward. Backward a bit. It just should be something like this. Q to align. Forward. Backward looks good. Flip, forward, back, looks good. And now we're just gonna press C. The next would be probably panel number 7, yeah? Now just probably somewhere here. Double click, align the features, forward, flip, forward, back. I should move here. Q to align, forward, back looks good. Forward, back looks good. Flip, forward, no, back, forward looks good. And C to lock. And the next one would be probably 9. I'm just gonna double click on 9. Align, forward, flip, forward, back. Q to align, forward, flip, forward, back. Q to align, forward, flip, forward, back, Q to align. And now I think we got, so sometimes you have to do it twice or 3 times, like this process. And now lock and go to panel number 9. This is panel number 10. It's right in front of this door, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Let's align, forward, flip, forward. It's a bit shifted, yeah. It should be on this coffee mug. Q to align, forward, flip, forward, back. We put the red line on R. Q to align, forward, back, forward, back. Looks good.
Chris, I know you use GoThru. How long did it take you to be in the groove like Alin is doing now?
Lock.
I think that I think I'm learning things right now, to be honest with you.
Ah, okay. So, Alin, what do you think?
I told Chris, like Chris was moderating. He's coming from Matterport, you know, so background, and he prefers to have a map on here, its own map, and try to put the dots on the map and then try to connect them, and then probably tries to fix the angles. To me, that's more work.
All right, we'll debate that a different day.
Yeah.
But how long? I'm a newbie. I go do this. How many tours do I need to put together before I'm in the groove like you?
I don't know, because I'm doing this for 5 to close to 6 years. Like the GoThru moderator is very close to what Google had when Google had the moderator. So, and we've shot over, I think, 500 tours in 5 years. So I'm very familiar with the moderation process. Now, designing the moderator, actually, the way we design the moderator is an improvement of what the Google moderator was. You didn't have the Q key, you didn't have the C key. So all these are innovation brought by GoThru, and they are innovation in a way like that was what.
Let's come to that in a moment. We'll discuss it, but we're like two panos away from being done, and I do want to see how the publish takes place.
Okay, so I'm just gonna overlay this panel, try to match the features, forward, flip, forward, back, Q to align, forward, flip, forward, back, Q to align, forward, looks good, flip, looks good, C. And now this panel, it's in a private room. So I'm just gonna go back here, and it's gonna be somewhere here. So I'm just double click on it, and I will align the features, and just W, flip, W, which is forward, S, back, Q to align, front, flip, front, back, Q to align, front, back, front, back. This looks good. This is just slightly. Okay, so something like this. Yeah, that looks good. So now I'm just going to press C, and I'm going to have the whole constellation moderated. Now you have like, you can go like and work on the map the way Chris used to do it. Hopefully he's not going to do that anymore and save him some time. So we're going to press E from expand, and we're going to have an expanded mode of the map. And we have different functions on the map where you can go and tackle anything on the map. Mostly I'm using the map is when I have to close a loop. Because GoThru is putting these panels 3 meters apart, sometimes when you shoot a loop, the loop doesn't close properly. So you might want to just drag on the map this panel a bit further away, and then you connect this panel to, let's say, panel 4 with nano number. So you just drag this, and this way you would close a loop. And that's why when you would work on the map, normally if it's a linear project like this one, I would not even touch the map. The only way I would touch the map is if I want to rotate the constellation. And to rotate the constellation, in this case, I have all the panels are connected, are locked. It's just as easy as dragging the plus left and right. Or if there are not locked panels, you can select by pressing Shift and dragging your mouse, and you can rotate the whole thing like this. I think the business was something like that. And then you can drag the whole constellation, move it around, either by selecting or having all the panels connected. These are some features that you have to play directly on the map. Again, usually I'm not using them unless, by at the end I'm just, and also you can shrink the constellation or make it larger by dragging this.
So are you ready to publish it to Google Maps?
So right now I'm gonna save it, Control S. And this is the next step would, like sometimes you have a client that wants a preview. So you can click on the preview icon and then see the tour in GoThru viewer, and you can walk around and take a look of how.
Alin, is this through the GoThru hosted tours, or is this yet a different feature?
No, this is similar with GoThru hosted tours, but it's like a preview. Yeah, it's not exactly GoThru hosted tour. Okay. We dumb down the resolution, so we have the images load faster. We are using full-size images for this, and because it's full-size images, if we would use the original images, it will load slower for some users. Okay. The hosted tours are using images that are.
Let's get to that in a moment, though. We'll stay on the GoThru moderator. You're in a preview mode. Is this shareable to a client?
Yes, you can take anytime. You can take the link. You can start wherever you want. What I really like is the go.gl shortener from Google. So I'm just copy this link and I can share it with anyone. And whenever they open it, it will open to them.
Okay, so anyone that has that link can see that.
You can shorten it or not. That's the preferred mode.
And so how would that differ from hosted tour? I'm sorry, we didn't get to publish. I really want to see you publish.
Okay, so once it's saved, I'm gonna go here, reload the page. Like this is the page where we started the moderator.
Yes.
The moderator starts as its own tab, its own window. So this way allows us to maximize the whole screen and use the real estate for the whole moderation experience. So once we did that, we reload this page, we see that this is our constellation, and we just go click on the Google. In here, we have different options. You can have multiple accounts that you want to publish to. In this case, I have only one account. So you can select the account, the Street View account you want to publish to.
So if you were managing multiple clients, you could do that in this window.
Yes. Yeah.
So I could publish under We Get Around or publish under our client's name.
Yeah, you can publish under your client. You can do that from a different place, like where you can request a client to allow you to manage their account, but that's a different area in GoThru.
Okay.
So this tool is already published. So because it's already published, we have this yellow button where it says update your tour on Google Street View. But if it wasn't published, let's see, what tour that's, I think this is published too. Yeah.
It would be a different color and say publish to Google.
Yeah, it will be a green, a green button, publish your tour to Google Street View. And you just click publish, and then it's, okay, are you really sure you want to publish your tour? Yes, and start publishing your tour.
And how long does it take to get published, and how will I know that it's been published? So
once you click on the publish button, it will take about 2 minutes for the tour. It will go into a queue and go through site, and in 2 minutes it will start actually pushing. We will start pushing the images to Google. And depending on how big your tour is, but for this size of a tour, probably it will take go through about 2 to 3 minutes to push the images to Google. And once we are done pushing all the images to Google, we will send an email to you where you have details about where the tour was published, and we ask you for you to have to review. One important thing to know is that Google says that it can take up to 48 hours for a tour to properly publish on Google side. And what we notice is usually the links show up in Google after 24 hours, and levels show up after 48 hours.
Levels, meaning a 2, 3, 4, or 5-story building?
Yes, so you can publish tours with multiple levels. I don't know, let's see if I have...
So do I get an email from GoThru, an email from Google that says, good news?
The email comes from GoThru. So in this particular case, we have 3 levels. Yeah. And we moderate it on the 3 levels. And working with level, it's very easy. You just click on edit. You can add as many levels as you want. You can click on the level. You can rename the level by clicking on the number rename. You can change the order of the level.
So that's very exciting. I think when I saw you in Tokyo in May at the Google 2017 Google Street View Summit, I think this was still just kind of a glimmer in the eye of...
No, we did support levels back then.
I'm not sure that Google supported levels.
Google didn't support it, but we wanted for you to moderate your tours properly. And
so if I hear you correctly, you had already enabled the moderation by floor, even though at that time Google didn't enable publishing multiple level spaces.
Yeah. So the way in moderator you access levels, you have this where you can hide all the levels and show only one, so you can work only one level.
And I'm still confused about the notification. I'll get a notification from GoThru that says, congratulations, you've just published or pushed your images up to the Google Street View.
Yes.
That's not the confirmation that it's live. When it eventually goes live up to 48.
No. The images will be live. The images are pushed, like the minute we push the images to Street View, they are live.
But
you might not have the connections between the panels.
Got it. Okay.
And
so
you might not have the levels there. That takes time in Google.
Wow. So is there a time where it's just a jumble of images and they're all sitting on top of each other?
No, let's say you just published the tour. In 10 minutes, you get the email from GoThru. You go to the Google Map page of that business. You see the first two panels that Google selects for you. If you click on it, you see the panel, but you cannot navigate. Also, you can go on the map, use the yellow dot, so you can go on the map and oops, you go to the map.
But do I ever get an email from GoThru or from Google? No. The one that says they're all linked together. They're all linked together.
GoThru doesn't know when Google is gonna.
And Google doesn't tell you.
Google doesn't tell me.
Okay, that's probably one of the things we discussed in our wish list was getting notification that it's now the way we expect it.
If you go on the map, right after you publish, if you go on the map, click on the yellow man, you will see your constellation like this, and you will be able to click on each panel and see it. But the links will come a bit later.
Okay, so the only way to know is to keep checking back.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and
the best is give it like about 2 hours, and you should start seeing links, something like that.
Okay, and I presume I can unpublish as well?
Yeah, so once you publish the tour, you have this button in the tool section, delete Street View Tour, and you can delete the tour from Google.
Is that going to delete it from Google Street View and from the GoThru moderator, or just through? Just
from Google.
Google. Okay, good.
Yeah, that's why we said delete Street View Tour. It's just from Street View. Also, we have a delete under the Constellation tab, and this will delete just from GoThru.
Gotcha. And it'll still be published to Google Street View.
So if you want to delete from both Street View and GoThru, you go in, you delete from Street View, and then you go out and you delete it from GoThru. So this way you delete the whole tour.
Mm-hmm. Now this seemed like a good time to move into hosted tours, a different but related service. Is there anything, before we do that, is there anything else on GoThru moderator that you want to show us, or Chris, did you have questions for?
Yeah, there is an extra feature that I want to show you, and that is the blurring function. So let's go out. Probably this tour doesn't have too much to blur. So this tool doesn't have too much to blur. So in order to blur in GoThru, you click on the key B, and we will switch to equirectangular view of the image. And then you can blur with Shift
Okay, and so for newbies here, the equirectangular JPEG is just the 360 photosphere flattened.
Yes.
And you see it's in this format of 2 across by 1 deep, and it looks distorted, but this is how a 360 photosphere looks when it's flattened, and it's called an equirectangular JPEG or an equirec or a panorama and probably other names that people refer to this.
Yeah. So in this particular case, to blur, you just press Shift, and with your mouse, you can start blurring. Now, this works okay for big objects, but sometimes you have people in the distance and you would like to blur the face of the people. So you will just press Shift plus Z, and Z will open the zoom lens, and you can zoom into the image. Now, you will notice that when you zoom, the quality of the image is very poor. Now, we are using a poor quality of the image in the moderator because we want your experience to be very good when loading these images. But if you want to increase the resolution, you just go in here and click on resolution, and let's select high. Now, high, it will take longer for the images to load and to go through. But you will get a very good resolution. So I'm just going to delete this. And now when I'm clicking Shift plus Z, you'll see that the image is much clearer.
Yes.
And you can blur, really, really nice.
Yeah, Chris, I know that today is about GoThru for newbies. You're a seasoned pro. You've been using GoThru for some time. Any comments of watching Alin give a demo here?
It's fascinating seeing him use this. I did notice when we were talking about placing the constellation earlier that he's using the map view, which is showing the nice 3D map that Google creates. What would you call that? It shows 3D data. I use a combination of the map and satellite, and I would love to see Alin go in there and show how he would use both to get the most accurate placement possible.
Myself, I'm never using the satellite.
Okay. Well, if I'm doing a tour and I went outside, right? The tour goes inside to outside. It goes with some trees. It's all in the same property. It goes to the parking lot. I'll use the satellite view to see there's the tree. I'll put the pano right by the tree and I'll find exactly where it is.
Yeah, but
and also,
if you use the satellite, you see how the map gets a bit distorted.
You have a flatten button though. Also, I'd love for you to show above the little Pegman.
Oh, this one. Okay.
That I find that a bit more useful than the, and I know that you're using Google's map API here, so you don't have full control over the UI of what people would see.
Yeah, the issue with satellite is in the map mode, you can zoom really high into the business because that's vectorial data on Google side, and Google allows us to zoom more. But in the map mode, I'm stuck at this level. I cannot zoom more than this. Because of that, I really don't like the satellite because look here, I'm going really, really, really deep.
Absolutely. No. I do use it, like I said, sometimes I do moderation for other people, and they've shot some outside panos that I just can't quite see a line of sight for. Mm-hmm. And so in that position, sure, I could go ahead and say, hey, I see no line of sight. What'd you do here? Or I can use exterior things that I see on both the satellite imagery and the photography, and I can kind of combine them. But I really wanted to see you. It's been amazing seeing how fast you move through this. I wanted to see if you use these tools and if this helps you. And I think your answer's been no, not really. And that's fascinating. That's good to know.
No, I'm not using, I never use the map. I moderated over 500 tours, never use the map. But I do get requests on improving the moderator to have map, like a custom map uploaded in the moderator. So we will do that in the future, where you will be able to, let's say you have a mall and you have multiple levels in that mall. You can upload, and then you can try to match the mall map with the panoramas.
Absolutely.
But
right.
that's a feature that will be coming in the future.
All right. Alin, before we move on, was there anything else in GoThru moderator to show us?
I think that the blur was...
the blur, yeah.
The blur
and Chris, did you have any other questions on GoThru moderator of what Alin has been demoing at the moment?
Yeah, I have one more question.
Sure.
Now, I have never really understood the relationship between locking and using the Q tool. Now I do. I kind of played with both, but I couldn't figure it out. And I love it. I have a question though. Is there ever a scenario where you would use Q where there were more than one connection that were not locked? Would that help ever?
I'm
so right there.
Sure, I understand.
Okay. If you're not locking and you hit Q, it will skew several connections, correct?
Yeah. So right now, let's say I'm in 10. Yeah. Let's go out from B. So I'm in 10, and I'm gonna click Q. Look at the map.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this way it didn't skew. Actually, Q works in a range of 90 degrees.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if you're way longer than 90 degrees, you should put your panel in the range of 90. Like you do it like this.
So it doesn't really matter if you lock or not, but it's a nice safety to have that on, correct?
I don't manage to make its Q in the back, but it is broken it. I'm not sure why. Maybe I locked it before and that's why. But usually when you do this, it skews this behind like this. So that's why you need to lock.
Yes, I've had that experience before. So I wanted to find out if there's ever a benefit to not locking where someone would want both lines to be affected.
No, I don't see, like you should lock it if you have, as in this case, like multiple directions. You just take one by one.
Chris, you're from Texas. Lock and load.
I know, right?
The problem, there is a feature that is getting requests, and I do feel it myself that I really want this feature moderating. And actually, I'm due to moderate a 400 tour we've shot the biggest mall in Canada, and I'm due to moderate that one. And this feature, I would really love it, is for a way to lock just the direction. So in here, I would love to lock the direction, not to be able to go up and down, just to maintain this. But this is really a feature that I'm looking for us to implement.
That sounds like a that sounds like a very specific tool. Like it makes sense to you. You would completely take advantage of that. But I imagine that a lot of people, if you add that feature, would be a bit confused.
A lot of people will actually are requesting it. And that's mostly when you have to create to close the loop. You know? So when you close the loop, you, let's say, align this, but you want to maintain the connection between 9 and 12 to be the same.
Yeah.
In this case, I'm skewing it. I cannot. Yeah, I cannot do it perfect.
Oh, it's tough.
So yeah, that's one tool that I'm really looking forward to have implemented.
All right, great. So, Alin, how about setting up your demo for hosted tours? I'm going to do a little station break here. Hey, all, if you're just tuning in, I'm Dan Smigrod, the founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Thursday, December 7th, 2017. Our guests today is a GoThru founder, Alin Bugeag. And joining me today also is WGAN-TV Live at 5 co-host Chris Hickman. So Alin, Chris, good to see you. Thank you for being on the program today. Alin, you've taken us through GoThru Moderator, and you have two other major products, services. The next one I think is hosted tours.
Yeah. So
and that seems to naturally flow from, okay, I've just created something on Street View, but what's this hosted tour product?
So we actually have two products. We are very similar, but and people a bit confuse them. One is called Mini Overlay, and one is hosted tours. Now, the Mini Overlay is a product where you can add a menu to a Street View. So let's go ahead and take a tour. Okay, so this looks like a good one. This is not published. So I'm just gonna take this one. And Mini Overlay and hosted tours are very close products where we can add a menu and the logo over the normal tour. Now, Mini Overlay is a tour over the Google where the images are hosted by Google, and hosted tours are a product where the panoramas are hosted by GoThru. And the hosting tour is mostly for real estate projects or for private tours or clients that do not want their tour on Google. So I will just go ahead and first create.
So I understand the distinction between Google Street View, that's public. Once you published it to Google, any and everyone can see it. I understand hosting, meaning it's hosted by GoThru and it's private. So maybe I'm shooting a house. Yes. I don't want that house published on Google Street View, but everything you just did in your workflow, I want, and you host it.
Yes.
And now I have control over who sees that content.
So,
but I'm lost when you tell me this overlay feature.
Yeah, the overlay feature is where you can add over the tour. So let's click on generate. And we have this menu. Yeah? So by the menu, I'm referring at this menu as an overlay because it sits on top of the tour. I can click on receptions and I'm teleporting.
Okay.
And I'm getting to meeting room and I'm teleporting to meeting room.
But is that on Google Street View?
Yeah, you can have that on Google Street View.
Okay.
So if you click on mini overlay, you see in here I have only two menus that I created because the menu icon is green, and I'm clicking generate overlay and I have only two menu entries.
Okay, so overlay is a tool to create a menu, and that menu can be both on Google Street View and GoThru hosting?
Yes. On
both?
Yeah.
Okay, and how do I publish that to Google Street View?
You cannot, this is the overlay is mostly for embed, so you can embed the tour. You click on embed code and you get the code in here, and you just take that and you put it on your website.
But does the overlay also show up on Google Street View?
No.
Okay.
Google does not have, they have their own overlay, but they are not making that public. And
okay, I hadn't seen that before. So okay, so we're in sync. So you create an overlay that can be either used with Google Street, when embedding Google Street View on your site, your client's site, you can enhance it with an overlay. Or if you're using GoThru hosted tours, which is not public, you're in control of the content, you can add the overlay, the menu to that as well.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And also an overlay supports a logo. So let's see if we can just search for Ruth Chris Steakhouse logo. You download this, view image, and save image. I'm just gonna save it on my desktop. No, this is a SVG, so no, this is not good. So this one looks like a JPEG. So the image, save image on desktop, save, and I'm just gonna go into GoThru and upload this from my desktop. You can drag and drop or upload. You can put a link to Ruth Chris Steakhouse.
Does everything you're doing work best in Chrome or a different browser?
The moderator, GoThru moderator is working best with Chrome and Firefox. Safari, we do not support it that well. Like at least that's the latest that I know. And then we generate the tour. And now you see you have the logo, you click on here.
And clickable, yeah.
And we can go ahead and put in some menu entry. Let's say the front. This would be probably the front. I'm just gonna drag the image. We will start the tour with this image. Center it, so it starts like this, and say front. And
are there other things that you can annotate? I see menu, I see logo, I see clickable link.
You can have multiple levels on Leview. So let's say we're gonna have this main, and when we generate the tour, we're gonna have front and main. So you can have this multiple level inside the menu.
And I'm lost. Am I in Google's? I'm in the overlay that can be used either with Google Street View or with GoThru hosted tours.
Yeah, so this is for the overlay. Now, I understand that you are lost a bit, and that's where we are working right now on. We are working, this is a very basic overlay system. And actually what we are working on is an overlay editor that will allow you to create menus, will allow you to add music, will allow you to have a map, and you pretty much be able to have hotspots, click on it, view a video on a hotspot, buy directly from the Street View. So that's the next feature, and that will be a free feature for all the pro accounts in GoThru.
Terrific. Before we move on to 360 video, anything else on hosted tours, Alin?
So hosted tours, again, it's a we do have a new an extra thing for hosted tours. Let me find the tour that doesn't have a hosted tour.
And is a hosted tour the deliverable two things? One is embed code, and the second is a link.
Yeah, you can have the embed code.
Can you take us to a link?
No, so with the hosted tours, you have two options, but that's only if you provide us your KR panel license, because we are using KR panel behind.
Okay.
If you provide our license for KR panel allows us to host and tours, but it does not allow us to provide you a downloadable version of the hosted tour.
Gotcha. But does it enable us to have a link?
Yes, it's enable you to have a link. But
can you take us to a link of one of your tours that's live hosted tour?
Let's see if this one is live. Yeah, this one is live. So generate tour, and no, this is not a live tour. Okay, so this is the live tour, and this is the link, and you can click on embed code, and you get the link for embedding. You can change the width and height of the tour, and it works the same. Like you start the front of the tour, you start the angle of the tour by just dragging this. And anyway, the way I see it right now, both hosted tours and overlay, they are a basic tool. It allows you to do a simple thing, but most of the people, they want just a menu. And probably in about 2 months from now, we will have a full-blown editor where you'll be able to add and create really nice experiences, where you can have videos, sound inside the tour.
And is there a link of just one example that you can show us of a hosted tour where you just paste the URL into your browser?
1 second.
Okay.
No.
It is live television. I imagine that's his senior vice president of operations in the background.
Yeah, it was one of my kids. Sorry about that.
It was your senior vice president of operations, off camera, asking you a very important question.
Yeah. I wanted to point out that that overlay feature seems like a really great way to embed one of these tours on your website if you're marketing your own Google Street View services. It can be tricky otherwise to embed Google Street View. Google provides really long code and all that, and you could soup it up potentially just to explain to potential customers.
1 second.
Okay. So Chris, so far, what do you think of hosted tours? Have you taken a look at that before, or is this your first time seeing that?
You know, I haven't really had a need for hosted tours. Most of the tours I host for clients are Matterport, but I market Google Street View like crazy. And sometimes it's difficult to explain Google Street View and to market your own services. That's where I think one use case of this that's really profound is. Alin's also kind of added some things in here that to me feel almost a little bit like a nudge to Google. He's created tools that Google don't give you that are rather common sense. He just showed setting the start image. He just showed a lot of small features that should be part of the platform.
Yeah, that probably those are wish list items for other shows. But Alin, I was still hoping to actually just see a link that took us to a GoThru hosted tour example.
So this is a link that takes you to a hosted tour. So it's
okay, cool.
It's
and now I see that you have virtual reality in the bottom left there. So that's
this is compatible with iPhones and Android phones and Cardboard and
is this WebGL implementation?
Yes, this is WebGL. We are using KR panel behind.
Yeah.
So whatever KR panel is using, that's what we are using.
So presumably I don't need to download any app. I just hit the VR button on my smartphone and I'm off and running.
Yeah, you can use the Cardboard and you're in the store.
Okay. So just for clarity, there's two deliverables with hosted tours. One is a link just like you were showing us. The second is to get iframe embed code. While there is a third possibility, which is downloading the entire tour, I would need to have a license from yet another company called KR Pano. And as long as I have that license, present my license key, presumably to you, then you would enable me to download the tour. I'm not sure what I want to do with that tour.
No, they are actually, even today, I had a client that created a tour for a private museum. Like someone at his home created a museum out of his collectibles.
Yes.
and they are about to sell that home.
Yes.
And they want to preserve the memory of the museum.
Terrific. So in that case, it's the tour is being hosted on a laptop or desktop,
yeah, you just
not going off to the internet.
Yes, you download it and you can, but you can also, there are like, say, there is, we have the nuclear power plants. You don't want the tour up on Google, you don't want the tour up on any third party tour, So you get that tour downloaded and you host it internally.
Yeah, excuse me. I actually have managed to get my headset twisted around my wheel here. So let me see.
So there are many cases where you want the tour to be downloaded and maybe you host it.
Got it. So now I'm actually clear on that. So that's cool. Chris, did you have a follow-up question on that?
No.
Okay, cool. Alin, could you take us through 360 video? Go through 360 video.
Yeah. Okay, so creating a 360 video, it's really, really easy in GoThru.
How about showing us the final product first and then show us how you did it?
Yeah. So I think we have one for Bershman, but anyway, I will go to this video that we created. The video starts with an the video starts with a logo, and this logo is placed by GoThru automatically. Then the video automatically starts panning left and right. I'm not doing anything right now. And then we let the user explore the video by dragging, and it becomes a slideshow of panoramas. And
a 360 slideshow of panoramas plus plus music. Is the music added from your library?
Probably I didn't share the music.
Yeah, maybe you can turn the music off at the moment while we're chatting.
Okay. Yeah. So and the music. So and this is really nice. You can take this video and put it on Facebook or embed it on your website. It's an extra for your client. So if you are selling actively this product, you can sell the 360 video as an extra product or even offer it for free to your client. But the way I usually, the way people are selling the 360 video is after they deliver the tour, they say, hey, would you like to maximize your investment using the tour? And the owner usually says yes, after you get paid.
Terrific. So an upsell after the sale.
And then you upsell and say, hey, look, we can create a 360 video.
Okay. Can you show us how you did this? I want to say this is a relatively easy process.
So to create, you just click on one of the businesses, click on 360 video. You would select, by default, all the panoramas will be unselected. And you would select the panoramas that you want in the video.
Mm-hmm.
You can change for the first panel the angle of where the panel wanna start. Select the music.
And is that you can select the angles only for the first one?
Only for the first one. Okay. Because once the panel gets moved, it doesn't matter what angle you select in here.
Gotcha.
Because it's moved.
Okay.
You select the background music. You can preview it. The music is royalty free, and we bought it, so you shouldn't have an issue with YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You can add your own music if you want. So if you have your own tracks, you can just drop in here.
So that I can upload an MP3 file?
You can upload an MP3 file.
Okay.
You can also upload the logo, and we will, like, if you create a slide which is 1304 by 1304 with the logo on this slide being like 1/6. Yeah.
Okay.
1/6, like if you have like a tic-tac-toe, just in the middle portion of this, you put the logo.
Mm-hmm.
We will create a panorama out of that, and everything will be properly warped.
Okay.
And you will have that effect of a nice panel. Then you select the number of seconds you want and hit create video button.
The number of seconds on each 360.
On each panorama, yeah. So how many seconds each panorama you want to be displayed till the video jumps to the next one.
When you hit create video, how long and how is it delivered?
Usually it takes about 5 to 10 minutes to create the video. You get an email notification that the video was created with a link to the video. And you either click on the video, and then in the video you have a button to download the video, or you come back here and you have a button to download the video here. Okay, terrific.
Do I get an email that says my video's ready?
Yeah, no. As I said, the first time you get an email, and in the email you have a link to the video. If you click on the video, you can download the video from the video.
Okay, terrific. Before we get into pricing, anything else on 360 video? Or did you want to talk about portfolio and nadir patching?
Some other features that we have. One is we allow you to work on multiple accounts. So you can add here, and Chris has a very big list of users that he's working on. You can actually copy this link and send it to your client. If I'm just gonna click on here, this is my partner and my wife Gmail accounts. So I'm asking to, by Alina clicking on this link, I'm allowing Alin to get access and manage her Street View account, and say yes and allow. And at this point, I receive an email saying that Alina allows me now to access your account. And if I'm reloading, I'm seeing that I have Alina here. And right now I can go ahead and import panoramas from Alina, the constellations from Alina's account. I can publish to Alina's account. I can delete, I can do whatever I want with Alina's account.
No, I don't think so. No life without wife.
No, yeah.
Permission denied. Permission denied.
So that's the multi-account, and it's really easy to work with it. Besides that, we have a portfolio feature where you get all your tours that you ever published, and you can edit them. You can add them some categories in here, delete them. To add them, they get automatically added once you publish them. So once you publish them, they will be automatically added for you here. And to see the portfolio, you just select one of the 3 templates that you offer and click, and you see the portfolio.
Wow, that's awesome.
And you click on here, save. This is our Pro portfolio where you have, it's a mobile friendly version of it. Let me see, it's a mobile version. You can see the map. Not too many, because most of the tours are published to Alina's account. And you see the future. We have some featured tours where we saw the Vaughan City Hall, Lazy Boy, and then you have all the tours in the chronological order that you published.
And I think in that that setup screen for managing the account, I saw a button to add my logo. So it sounds like that's a universal. If I put my logo in there once every...
This is only valid for the third template. We have an white label. Some people are using this one for embedding the tour, this into their site. We also, like regarding this, we have a WordPress plugin. So you just click on this, you download the GoThru plugin, and you use this code, and boom, you have the tour up on your plugin with pagination and all that. It's a really nice plugin to showcase your work. And you don't have to do anything. The tours get automatically added to your website. Don't have to do anything. If you're more into programming and stuff like that, we also provide an RSS feed with all the tours that you have, and then you can take this and do whatever you want.
Okay. And then if I think the last thing I had a question on before pricing maybe was the logo in the setup screen. And I'm presuming that there's a place to add a logo either globally for everything or by tour.
Oh, no. So we have a function where we can add the nadar. So we can add the nadar to our tours. And we have locally nadar, where I can just drop in the nadar here, or we have globally nadar. So in the globally nadar, you set it up from under my accounts. You just go to my accounts, you drop in the logo here, and as you notice, the logo is not as big as this. The nadar needs to be a PNG file, this size, and the size of it, and I'm writing here, it should be 1/6 of the whole image. If you make it big, some people do not read. If you make it big as this, it will be something like here. Yeah. So you don't want that. So I will just go ahead and I apply the nadar on this tour. And it's going to take probably 30 seconds or so to apply the nadar.
So if I'm adding the patch for the nadar, I can do that with Google Street View, but in order to meet their guidelines, it can just be a logo and a company name. If I wanted to add an email address or a street address or some other details, I could do that in the hosted tours. But I can't do that. I'd be in violation of Google Street View terms of use if I put an email address or a street address or something in that nadar patch.
So I can now preview, and when I'm looking, I have my nadar. Whereas I have my company name and the company website. Actually,
but in that example, you could only do that on your hosted tours or on your private KR.
No, normally on Google, you are not allowed to put your website or a phone number or an email.
Okay.
It's in the violation of Google rules.
Yeah.
Now, I never put a nadar on my tours, but I know some people like to do that.
Yeah. Pricing. Talk to us. Do you want to take us to a pricing page and talk to us about pricing?
Yeah. So regarding pricing, just going to go out and go to our plans. GoThru has two plans. One is pay as you go, and it's theoretically can be seen as a free mode. And the Pro account where you have access for one fee to all those features.
So on the pay-as-you-go, it's $10 US.
So the pay-as-you-go, so the way it works, like the minute you create an account on GoThru, you get 2 free tours to publish. Those free tours can have between 1 panel to 1,000 panels. We do not count the number of panels on your tour. So you get 2 tours free in order for you to test and see that GoThru is for you and it's easy to work with. Besides that, any tour that did 4 or less panoramas, we consider it a free tour in GoThru, so we won't charge you. So if you stay below 4, it's a free ride. Now, if you used your 2 tours, then there is a price of $10 for publishing.
And that's $10 US.
$10 US, yes.
Yeah.
Then we have the Pro account where you can publish up to 10 tours.
Forgive me, I'm going to read off here because I know on the TV it can be a little bit small. So on the $0 US per month pay-as-you-go default portfolio template, unlimited constellation import, $10 US per published to Google Street View, full-size panorama backup and support.
Yes. So we are backing up all your panoramas that you are uploading to us. So that's one thing that we offer. We store them on our server. So anything happens with your tour on Google, you have the panoramas in GoThru. All you have to do is just press publish button and the tour is again up on Google.
Okay, terrific. And then your second plan is $23.95 per month US dollars. And let me see if I can read through this and maybe you'll embellish. Multiple portfolio templates. Is that what we saw when we saw 3 templates, or is there more templates?
Yeah. So the last template, which is the one that's mobile friendly, that's a premium template that's available only for the Pro accounts.
Okay. What does that mean? The mobile friendly.
So that's the template for the portfolio.
For the portfolio. Okay. Unlimited constellation import, 10 publishing to Google Street View, $2 for each additional tour. So if I do 5 this month, do I get to carry 5 over to the next month?
No. You think about it as your phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can
get a number of minutes every month. The number of minutes are not porting from month to month.
My phone bill rolls over. Okay,
mine not.
Yours doesn't. Okay, so this is a use it or lose it. But frankly, it's on the first plan. It's $10. If you're going to do 3 or more, it makes sense to be on it. And frankly, for other reasons, it may make sense anyway.
Yeah, and the pro tip is like you can subscribe for 1 month. So there is no commitment for a full year or anything. Like you just subscribe 1 month. And you unsubscribe the next month.
Yes, but what happens to my tours if I've unsubscribed?
The tours stay on Google. There is not an issue with your tours being on Google.
Okay.
You do not delete them from Google.
So again, let's see. Multiple portfolio template, unlimited constellation, up to 10 published to Google Street View. Any additional in that month, $2 each. Unlimited 360 videos. So the 360 videos, that's not part of the pay-as-you-go plan. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Correct. Okay. 5 hosted tours, $5 each additional tour. So if I want to do the hosted tours, I need to be on the pro plan.
I think when the first month when you are creating your account, you can create 2 hosted tours just to try them.
So you can do two to Google Street View and 2 hosted tours as part of when you sign up to test and learn.
Yes.
Okay. hosted tour Facebook embed. You have an example of that maybe to show us what that is?
I think I should take that out.
Okay.
This was using Flash, and
okay.
Facebook blocks Flash right now, so this is not working.
Okay, got it. Full-size panorama, full-size backup, download panoramas. Again, that's if you have a KRPano license.
No. The download panoramas is some people what are doing is like, let's say you've shot a tour 3 years ago, it's published to Google, and you want to import that constellation to GoThru, you import it and then you download those panoramas. For some reason, you don't have the panoramas anymore.
Yes, no, I can appreciate that. So, and if I am on the pay-as-you-go plan, I could still download the panoramas by upgrading that month to the $23.95 and then download.
Yes.
Okay. WordPress plugin for portfolio. That's what you showed us. The nadir patching. So that's only available on the Pro plan and support as well. And I think there was some other charges. If I was doing a DSLR and I gave you my unstitched panos, I believe there's an additional charge if I was doing that.
Yes, there is $1. That's independent of the plan. So if you are sending images to be stitched by GoThru, there is $1 per panorama.
Got it. Is there anything else to charge me?
Again, like if you publish more than 10 tours a month, there is a fee of $2 per additional.
Yep.
If the hosted tour have a license for 1 year. So you get these 5 tours. In a year, the license will expire. If you want to renew the license, it will be a $5 renewal per tour.
If you're not on the $23.95, or that would be in addition to the $23.95?
No. So even if you are on the $23.95, so the $23.95 will provide you basically in 1 year
a hosted tour for 1 year.
60 tours, yeah?
Yeah.
If you publish 5 tours every month. Now, the way I'm thinking about this is mostly for real estate. And the real estate, it doesn't live on internet more than a year. Like, yeah. Usually homes are sold. No, you shouldn't reach or go over 1 year. But in some cases, you let the tour more than 1 year. In those cases, you have to, because we have to deal with hosting of those images.
Yes.
So there is a fee, hosting and keeping the files on file on the server. So there is a $5 fee.
Okay. It makes complete sense to me. How about taking it off of screen share?
Okay.
And we'll be back here. Hey again. So I know I have a lot of things that I want to say and share, but before I do that, Alin, was there anything else that you wanted to show us, or maybe you wanted to talk about new things that you have coming?
We are very excited about our development, and as I already told you, hopefully in about 2 months from now, so end of January, we will be launching the GoThru editor for the overlay that will allow you hosted tours, and that will be unlimited tours for free for all Pro accounts, and that will be, of course, for Google. Like if you do go, and we will solidify with that editor the difference between hosted tours and overlays on Google. And we will make streamlined so it's being one place, and then you can select what you want. You want a hosted tour or a mini overlay. So we'll try to clean up a bit that area. It is a bit confused right now. We will also support on that overlay multi-language. I know in North America we all speak English and Spanish, but in Europe, the multi-language is very important because you have Italians, France, and German and English speakers all in the very tight space. And people are traveling a lot. So you want multi-language. So that's one of the key features that we are working on our overlay system. Besides that, another feature that we are working on and we are very excited is auto moderation, where what you've seen, we did like moderating and aligning those panoramas and creating a constellation. We will try our best to do it automatically.
Everything. No more left key, right key, W key, X key, YZ key.
We will try that now.
Wow.
Again, some tours will work better, some tours will work not that great. It depends, again, on the granularity of how you shoot and yeah. But so anyway, so again, we hope that we are about 2 months away from that point. And that will make the life easier for a lot of people.
Wow. What else you got in your Mary Poppins bag there to pull out?
We have long-term plans, and pretty much we will have a branch and a template for the overlay system that will be dedicated for the real estate market. Like a lot of photographers are shooting real estate, so we will have something like a dedicated for real estate.
Okay. Chris, you got some questions for Alin?
No, I'm good.
Okay, good. Well, I mean, here's my impression. Alin, thank you for taking us through a demo of GoThru Moderator for newbies and showing us your hosted platform and the 360 videos. It's fantastic to see. My impression is that it used to be to publish to Google Street View, you needed to be, I don't know if it's fair to say a professional photographer, but a photographer that had a DSLR camera, a fisheye lens, a rotator, and then try to understand how to stitch the pictures together, and then maybe figure out how to do the nadir patch. It's quite a geeky thing. I mean, that's 4 years ago. That's what I was doing, and so fast forward to today. And there are more than 70 cameras that are one-click 360 solutions. And I think, wow, for anyone that just, watched you go through your demo, now it's possible to say, hey, I think there's a business in here for me. I'm going to go buy maybe an under $500 camera. I mean, you can get a 360 camera today for $130. And certainly most, even the Ricoh Theta S, the Ricoh Theta V, under $500 with HDR, and to be able to shoot a reasonably good image, and now actually have a workflow and a process to enable Street View. So I think what you're doing is democratizing the shooting, viewing, sharing, publishing of 360 photography. That means that perhaps, I don't want to diminish our craft of what we do, because I know we all think very carefully about where we're going to place the camera and what we're going to do. But that said, all these 360 cameras that have now come on the market and enable us to be able to publish to Google Street View because of a GoThru moderator. And I just think that that's really remarkable. When you were, I would imagine you created this in order to have just a tool for yourself as a prolific 360 photographer in order for you to interact with Google. And then like at some point it was. Yeah,
no. It's my idea, and the way the whole thing started is I wanted to create a tool for the real estate market. And I start working on the moderator, and then I got lucky to meet with Charles and demo him the moderator.
So this is Charles Armstrong, product manager for Google Street
Yeah.
View.
And
Yeah.
when he saw our work, he was very impressed and say, "Hey, like, you know what? Like, I really love what you did, and we can put you in a beta test to test the API." And of course, that give us a boost into, okay, we really have to make this a great product. And we were ready for the real estate market, but then we shifted and say, okay, we're going to do it for Street View. And then later on, maybe we can take a look into real estate. But that's why we were looking at, yes, the most, like, when I'm looking real estate, I'm looking at actually the real estate agents buying a Theta, a tripod, and just taking the pictures by themselves and making the life much easier for them, because you take the pictures, probably in the future, you just going to be able to streamline it, take the pictures and boom, it directly they are in GoThru. So, yeah.
Amazing. I mean, what you showed is that in essence, that even today, a little bit of hump maybe in terms of learning the workflow and the different keys to do what you were doing. But essentially it means that, you know, any of us that pay, you know, I keep talking about under 500. I mean, I just think that it's important for anyone to start. So, you know, people are thinking about, well, you know, do I have to go out and buy $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in gear? No, just go out and buy a Ricoh Theta S camera with HDR, and you can go shoot indoor residential real estate. And now through a little bit of a workflow, be able to publish it. If it's meant to be private, publish it to GoThru hosted, and if it's meant to be public, then to be able to publish it to Google Street View. I think this just enables so many possibilities that simply weren't possible. I don't know, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. These cameras really just started coming out in the last, you know, two-ish. You know, reasonable quality in the last, you know, 2 years. And now we're seeing phenomenal quality in 360s, which is only going to get better. So it seems like, you know, if anyone is thinking about, they're on the sidelines and they're thinking about whether to jump in, I'd say, look, go buy a camera today, you know, and know that whatever your workflow is, it's either going to be the same with a more expensive camera, or it's going to be better. What we're hearing today, today's this Thursday, December 7th, 2017, and what you just shared with us is within 2 months, so let's call that February, that you believe that you may be able to enable anyone, as long as they probably shoot the tours within a certain proximity of each other, that there's 360 photos, the panoramas, whatever we're going to call them, is that this stitching in order to publish to Google Street View, in order to publish to GoThru hosted solution.
What we try to mimic as much as the old process that Google had, and everyone loved it. So the moderator is as close and even improved, an improved version of what Google had. The stitching is very close to what Google had, and the next stone is creating the auto moderation.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and so I guess that's how I would sum up is. That GoThru is a tool, probably you know, not only for professionals who are quite prolific, like Metroplex 360 Chris Hickman, who's joining us today, but you know, for me as a newbie to say, oh my gosh, you know, I have a real estate agent that's got a 100-acre piece of property. They would love a tour just like Google Street View, but they don't want it published to Google Street View. You know, now we have a process to say, okay, you know, we take a Ricoh Theta S or some other 360 camera, go out and, you know, on interval shooting, you know, put it up through the car or put it on top of the head and just go walk the property, and now be able to upload those to your platform. And sounds like we're just a couple months away from being able to actually automate the process and to be able to have a choice of publishing to Google Street View or publishing to a hosted solution.
Yep.
Yep. So before we say bye-bye, Alin, anything to add?
It just popped in my mind. We just launched today our knowledge base. I'm really excited about that. I forgot to show it, and we already have it in English and in a few articles in France. And we are going to translate it in Japanese, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, and German. So we're going to have that knowledge base. So it will be available for everyone. This tool is not just for English-speaking crowd, but it's for everyone from this planet.
That's awesome. And the We Get Around Network Forum actually is a worldwide audience. And so I'm sure while everyone seems to speak English and be able to write English, I'm sure they'll be thrilled to have the knowledge base in their language of choice. Chris, anything to add? Comments, questions?
I can't wait to see the knowledge base. I've wanted there to be a knowledge base about these things. You know, I've asked, I've suggested.
Let me share my screen again.
Okay.
Share screen.
Because am I correct in saying that Google has left us with a lot of questions? Everyone's asking questions that are both GoThru, but also just Google Street View related, and no one has an authoritative source for information on that. Is that what you said? That's apt?
Yeah, no. So this is, we are still in the beginning. So right now we focused on how to do things in GoThru.
Oh, this looks great.
So this is one article, how to create a logo bumper for the 360 videos. And we go and have images in here and explaining all the steps.
Wow.
We hope also have
That's awesome.
The image, and the knowledge base is searchable. So if I'm typing in fix, it has suggestions, and you can find the thing that you are looking for much easier. And right now we have French, and I still have to translate a few things here and there, but we have the articles already translated. And it's just as easy as switching from English to French. Probably we will still have to go through the knowledge base, refine it a bit, add a bit more articles, and then once we've done that, we will go ahead and add the extra languages that I was talking about.
Awesome. Could you take us off screen share there?
Yeah.
And Chris, anything else on that?
No, I love that. I've been wanting to have a resource for myself. Hey, Dan, you've mentioned I'm a pro and this and that, but I'm learning things every day. There are so many things in GoThru that it's just like using Adobe Photoshop. You can be great at it, but there's loads of features. And Alin's made a platform, his team have, that it covers so many different aspects of Google Street View. And I love it. And this has been such a helpful program.
Awesome. So
thank you, Chris.
Alin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Yes, and Chris, thank you for adding commentary. And I know you've been sending me some notes on the sideways, so that maybe I might sound a little bit smarter than I am, but it's not, because Chris has been sending me notes to help me ask questions. So thank you both, Alin and Chris. Our guest today has been GoThru founder Alin Bugeag, and co-hosting with me today on WGAN-TV Live at 5 has been Metroplex 360, Chris Hickman. If you want to check out GoThru, it's GoThru.co. That's GoThru.co. And if you want to check out Chris Hickman, it would be Metroplex 360. The number's 360.com for him. Thank you all for tuning in to WGAN TV Live at 5. I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum, and our program today in Alin in Toronto. Chris, where are you in Texas today?
I'm in Dallas, Fort Worth.
In Dallas, Fort Worth, and I'm in Atlanta. Thank you all again for tuning in, and enjoy your holiday. Okay, bye-bye, Alin. Bye-bye, Chris. Thank you. So I've taken us off record, and I just want to thank you again. I'm going to go ahead and hit end meeting, because I know I need to go home and make dinner for my wife. And Alin, I think you had some pressing matters yourself that I was hearing.
Yeah, no, my wife, I think, went to the Navy.